these young girls are pregnant. They're continuing their education. But not only that, she was very thorough. Once they had their baby, then there was the daycare center that she established in Mount Vernon that they were able to then, after their babies were delivered, to have their babies taken care of at the daycare center. My mother was on the board for the Westchester Daycare Council, but that they would have a place to send their babies to be taken care of while they were completing their education. So, that says a lot about my mother.
Yeah, that's pretty incredible. I'm surprised we don't have more of that kind of thing now today, but I guess...
Well, you have all of these programs that were, there was more money put into incarcerating young people than there were, after school care and all those after school programs that we need to find young, we adults need to make sure that they are, that we have them for our young people.
I hear you. Okay, we're here with ILYASAH Shabazz, the third daughter of Malcolm X and Dr. Betty Shabazz. She's the author of Growing Up X, a novel, and Malcolm Little, the boy who grew up to become Malcolm X. Is there one more book that I missed it?
No, those are the three. I have another one that's coming.
Okay, what's the one coming?
But it's not out yet.
Okay. Listen, we'll be right back after these messages with a little bit more of ILYASAH Shabazz. How are you holding up? You think you can give me another half hour maybe?
How about 15 minutes?
Oh, you got it. Thank you very much.
Okay.
We'll be right back after this with my favorite guest, ILYASAH Shabazz.
You're so sweet.
Okay. And now, a word from our sponsors. Pacific West Bamboo, your premier source for sustainable building material. They provide construction-grade and craft-grade bamboo material for all your indoor, outdoor, and gardening needs. Contact them for event planning and display building as well. 503-839-8126. Or you go to their new website, pacificwestbamboo.com. Or you can contact them on Facebook at Pacific West Bamboo. That's 503-839-8126. Amanda from Pacific West Bamboo was our first sponsor. She's been so good to us, so please support her in return. I want to make everybody aware of our new members section at www.oppermanreport.com. You can go there and sign up for a monthly, quarterly, or yearly subscription. You can even purchase episodes one by one. You get full access to brand new original content, new guests, new uncensored interviews, my own investigations and reports, and we're going to be adding sections with documents, images, police reports, either provided by myself or by my guests, or for my own investigations, my own reports. So you can go to oppermanreport.com and you can sign up there tonight. You can start listening tonight. Strawman. I want to mention Strawman. Strawman is a band out of Toronto, Canada. They're good friends of the Opperman Report. They're a trio of guys who share the same mindset most of us here do, and they put that energy into their words and music. So check them out at strawmanmusic.com and drop them a line to let them know that you heard them here on the Opperman Report. We'll be doing an interview with Sean Duffy soon. You can get an autographed copy of my book, How to Succeed as a Private Investigator, by visiting my PI website, emailrevealer.com. We also offer a computer and cell phone forensics. We can recover deleted text messages to uncover infidelity. We offer asset searches, locates, email tracing, background reports, and we can even trace your spouse's email address back to internet dating websites to catch them cheating online. You can reach us at 800-572-9762, or you can email me at emailrevealer@aol.com. New World Mexican Women. Everyone loves the New World Mexican Women, and their line of fine, handcrafted, authentic Mexican jewelry of stone mosaic and abalone stone inlay. In their first book, titled New World Mexican Women, available on lulu.com, they teach you how to make this jewelry and they have a collection of love letters to their men from their hometown that have immigrated to the United States to find work. They have also published a new book entitled Azukina to the Rodeo. It's about a young girl that falls in love with a rodeo bull rider, and she runs away with him without telling her family. You can find the New World Mexican Women by Googling New World Mexican Women. And you can ask them about their deals on wholesaling, their fine jewelry, and all of the other projects that they have going on. If you'd like to have your business or website advertised here and promoted all over the world on dozens of stations every day, give us a call at 800-572-9762 or email oppermanreport@gmail.com. And now back to our show. Welcome back to the Opperman Report. I'm your host, Private Investigator Ed Opperman. Tonight we are joined by ILYASAH Shabazz, the third daughter of Malcolm X and Dr. Betty Shabazz, the author of 3 books. You can find them in the Opperman Report bookstore. Growing Up X, X a Novel, Malcolm Little, the boy who grew up to become Malcolm X. We'll be right back with our guest in just a second, but have you heard about chaga mushrooms? It's a mushroom that grows way up in the northern forest. Native Americans and Russians have been using it for hundreds of years. It's not the kind of mushroom you eat, but you make a tea with it, and it's loaded with polysaccharides and other unique phytochemicals. It's supposed to be very delicious, too. You wouldn't guess you were drinking mushroom tea. The folks over at MichiganMushrooms.net have been harvesting chaga for years, and they have built a great reputation for having the best quality mushrooms for the best prices. These guys are recognized as experts in the field of mushrooms. Check out and like their Facebook page, Michigan Mushrooms LLC, and visit their website. You can be ordering mushrooms tonight, MichiganMushrooms.net. But like I said, tonight we have ILYASAH Shabazz, the third daughter of Malcolm X, one of the great minds of our times, one of the great activists and resistance fighters and heroes of our time. ILYASAH, are you there?
I'm here.
Okay. Now, what would you recommend to young people out there today who don't like what they see and they want to do something to resist and to make change?
Right. I don't know if it's resisting. I don't know what are we resisting. I think
really, because I'm always searching for a word, and I've settled on resisting, because I feel like we're under oppression and we have to resist this oppression.
But I don't think that some people don't even realize that there's, oppression.
Yeah, I know. That's a problem, too.
It is. But, I think that, sometimes when we use these words, it can't be compared to the oppression during the transatlantic slave trade, and I don't really want to get into all of that, but, when we use words like oppression, when we use words like racism, when we use these words that, it's like, I just think it's, quite interesting. But I think that what is exemplary is when we see this young man, Jonathan Butler, who took a stance. And then when we see a whole football team who supported him, they understood that they weren't being treated, that they weren't being treated fairly, that there was a lot of injustice on campus, that they understood a lot of these things that were happening to them, and no one was doing anything about it. And so recognizing, understanding that when we want change, we have to understand the roles that we play individually and collectively in society. That sometimes we think that we're going to just sit back and we're going to wait for someone to do something instead of realizing that we're the ones that, that we have to do something, that each one of us is accountable and responsible for our lives and for whatever it is we gave to society or however we lived our lives in society. That you can't see someone being treated inhumanely or their humanity not being respected and think that life is going to be great for you. That we have to do something about it. And again, it's applauding the young people who are coming together across our nation. They're coming together in spite of their ethnic, religious, sexual orientation. In spite of all the differences, they're coming together as one, recognizing, our humanity. And so I think our young people should be applauded.
But how would you direct them to tell them, like, if they want to do something, what would we say? Well, here's a good, like your dad would come up with a strategy.
That's right.
Yeah.
I think, again, understanding the importance of history, looking at what the young people did in prior generations and doing that. And it's just a matter of coming together with like minds, organizing, strategizing, planning, executing. Just do it.
And one of the things I'm doing right now with my kid, is we're organizing around the Bernie Sanders campaign, because the people who show up at these events and the people who show up at the rallies, and they're like-minded people. And they're way more radical than he is. Okay, and these are intelligent people. They know what's going on. And I'm not saying that Bernie's the solution to everything, but we got these people, and they need to be directed and motivated and mobilized. So now,
that's right. That's right. You're absolutely right. It's being informed and informing those around us, and coming up with a plan and doing it.
What do you think of these Black Lives Matters? These kids who, it's a pretty large movement.
It is. It's a large movement. I think it's an important movement, and I think it's a great movement. When you see so many, my goodness, when you see so many young people just being senselessly, brutally killed.
Unarmed.
Right.
And
I don't understand it. I don't understand anyone that... I don't understand, this insensitive, being insensitive, senseless, brutal killings. I don't understand it, but it's been like this for such a long time. And it will continue to be this way until we address it. So I, again, applaud young people for understanding that they can stand up to injustice, that they can make a difference. The only way we are going to have change is when we do, we set out and become those change agents.
I hear you. Now, let me ask a question. And again, back to Mike Brown, Black Lives Matter, Ferguson, right? Here we got come on. It was so obvious. It's an unarmed guy. If at worst it was a fist fight or whatever, the kid's shot. And then there was all kind of witnesses that show this kid hands up, all kinds of stuff, right? Then we have a federal grand jury that comes in and there's no indictment, a federal investigation, right? Does it concern you, given the history, when people like Al Sharpton come in, given his history of working with the FBI, that perhaps it's not a good direction for the people who really want justice to be taking?
I don't understand your question. I think that whenever we see anyone who is being targeted, being killed, and not only today, but the history of, the killing. Look at the history of slavery, the history of injustice. It's just, at some point we have to say enough is enough, right?
Right. Right. We have to say enough is enough, and I think that the methods we've been using up until today sometimes are not in our best interest.
The methods that okay.
You know what I'm saying? I'm saying that this idea of bringing in the federal government, it's in federal grand juries, federal Department of Justice investigations, where there's never an indictment following up, doesn't seem to be the solution. And I almost see that as being a trap.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
So what do you think we should do about it?
Well, I think that when we see these organic movements, like in Ferguson, where the people in that neighborhood saw that something was seriously wrong, and they went out in the streets, and they did not leave the streets, okay, because they knew